Mr. Sanders, Philip begged for mercy. I was wrong. I failed to educate my son. Please pity me, spare my pathetic company. Tim looked down at him and snorted. You still haven't figured out who made this request? Only then did he see Chase, who was standing nearby. He scrambled to his side. Good sir, I'm at fault here. My son was stupid to provoke you. Please hear me out. I've been running this company for decades. I can't get by without it. Chase looked at him with an ice-cold face, no expression at all. In the distance, Mark was stunned to see his father begging and admitting his wrongs in front of the two men. He had originally thought that, with his father's support, he could go anywhere and do anything in Laudervale. He never would have thought Tim Sanders himself would destroy his family's livelihood. Furthermore, he didn't understand how Chase could have such a high status that even Tim deferred to him. At this moment, Philip rushed to his son's side, picked him up by the collar, and shoved him forward. Hurry up! Get over there and apologize to this man! No, I won't. Mark was still a bit stubborn. Why should I apologize to him? Why should we be afraid of him? Philip didn't care about his son's objections. He reached up and slapped him a few more times. You're an idiot. If I tell you to go, then go. Everything you have is because of me, and you just cost me everything. Get the hell over there. Dad! Mark was still unconvinced. However, his father didn't give him the slightest leeway to explain himself. Immediately. I said, immediately. He didn't have any other choice. In the end, he couldn't escape the inevitable. He walked up to Chase and bowed deeply. I'm sorry. Although he gritted his teeth, the words were still very clear. Chase was expressionless. He pointed his finger at his daughter and said, You have to apologize to her, not me. Mark continued to clench his teeth and felt like his head was about to explode. However, his father's glare exerted too much pressure and he had no choice but to do so. He stood respectfully in front of Dottie and gave her a 90-degree bow. I'm sorry. Mark was furious. He wanted to beat Chase into a pulp for this humiliation. However, he had no other options. Philip controlled his life, and he wanted him to apologize. In the end, Mark finally accepted his fate and apologized in front of everyone. He silently looked at Chase and vowed to remember this grudge. However, Chase seemed to let it go immediately. After seeing him apologize, he simply took his daughter and brought her to the car. Looking at Mark through the car window, Chase said in an indifferent tone, In the future, watch where you're walking. After saying that, he told Tim to drive away. Returning to the hospital, Celia saw little Dottie running toward the room. She immediately hugged her daughter and once again burst into tears. Seeing that Chase had succeeded, Patricia was slightly resentful in her heart. Originally, she thought Chase would never find the girl. That would drive a wedge between him and Celia. Then, Patricia thought Chad's police friends would find her, and the Samson would use it as an excuse to kick Chase out of the family. However, she didn't expect that everything would go so well for him. Where did you find the girl? Patricia asked. Chase didn't want to expose his collaboration with Tim, so he casually said, Dr. Reynolds helped me. We found her in a nearby bakery. So it was all thanks to Chad. How did she get lost anyway? He replied painedly. I came back from your party and saw that she was gone. She must have run outside. Gone? Patricia immediately scolded him. What kind of father lets his daughter just slip away like that? You're a failure. And since your daughter ran away, that doesn't speak well to how you raised her. Mom, what are you talking about? Hearing this, Celia became furious. Although she knew Patricia had many problems with Chase, Dottie was still her daughter and Celia wouldn't let anybody use her as a pawn in the game. I'm right, Patricia continued. The things that happened today were all his fault. Ask anyone and they'll agree with me.
I'm surprised he even bothered to look for her in the first place. You should use this as leverage to divorce him."
"Mom, you're going too far," Celia said with her arms folded. She was on the verge of erupting. Chase was afraid that would cause another fight, so he said to Patricia, "You're right. It is my fault. But she's back now. Aren't you going a little too far by saying your granddaughter should be leverage? Is that all she is to you?"
"Too far?"
Upon hearing this, Patricia felt that she was about to explode again.
"I'm too much. You eat and drink for free at my house. Other than giving us such a troublesome granddaughter and adding a burden to Celia, what else did you do? You're nothing but a freeloader, and that's the truth."
Chase gritted his teeth and wanted to say more. Celia spoke first. She reached out to grab Chase's hand. "I got this." She turned to Patricia. "Mom, Chase went out to search the city all night for Dottie, while you stayed here and badmouthed him. How about this? Since there's nothing else for you to do here, you should get out." Patricia was so angry that she found herself speechless. She wanted to keep fighting, but she knew she couldn't win. So she went out alone. Cicely, Quentin, and Chad had left while Chase was out searching. After her mother had left, Celia asked Chase, "Tell me the truth. Did you really find her all by yourself?" He knew that if he told her the whole story, she'd lose her mind. He sighed and spoke carefully. "Not all by myself. Tim, Chuck, and Dr. Reynolds helped by contacting the police. Somebody tried to kidnap her right in front of the hospital parking lot, but Dottie was smart enough to escape. We found her mainly because the police helped track down her location." Celia was frightened when she heard that. It had been a close call.
"Then why didn't you explain it all to Mom?"
"She doesn't give a shit. Even if I told her that I saved some Dottie's life, what's the use? What matters is that she's okay. Everything else is unimportant." "Yeah." Celia sighed. She looked at Chase with indescribable affection. He was right. The Samsons' impression of him would probably never change. As long as the Rothmans were together, nothing else mattered. The next day, Chase asked Eliza to come over to the hospital and stay with Dottie. After yesterday's events, he knew better than to leave his daughter alone. After giving his instructions to Eliza, Chase went in to check on Celia before she had to leave for work. As he had predicted, Celia was nursing a bad hangover. She was moving slowly, and it took her a little longer than usual to get ready. After Celia had finally departed, he received a surprise phone call from his mother-in-law. Patricia's irritating voice blared through the phone speaker.
"Chase Rothman, get over here right now. I'm at Sunrise Village. Be here in 10 minutes.
The phone call went dead. He could tell from her tone that Patricia was anxious about something. He thought about it for a few moments, weighed his options, and then decided to meet her as she asked. Getting out of the car at Sunrise Village, he saw Patricia, alongside several other people, causing a commotion in front of the Atlantic investment offices. She made a beeline for Chase and scolded him.
"You're late. What took you so long to get here? Did you break both of your legs?"
He was used to her denigrating remarks, and knew it was easier not to argue. He simply looked at the group of people gathering at the entrance of the building and asked, "Patricia, what's going on?" As usual, Patricia gave a curt reply.
"Just shout along. Don't ask me for anything else."
And then turned around and walked back to the group of protesters, all of them presumably angry about something the company had done. Chase could hear cries of, "Give me back my hard-earned money," and "Cheaters never win." Yet another voice yelled, "You'll pay for this." He soon learned that Atlantic Investment had secured money from everyone there with the promise of high returns, but had never followed through with the payout. Instead, the office building appeared to be empty except for the janitorial staff. Of course, he knew the deal. Companies like this one popped up every once in a while, preying on people's naivete. It was mostly older people who fell for these schemes, and it now looked to him like Patricia was one of them. He felt a headache coming on and placed his palm against his forehead. This really wasn't what he needed today. He walked back to his mother-in-law and gently asked, Patricia, how much did you invest? She glanced at him unhappily, and rather than answering his question, posed one of her own.
Why aren't you shouting?
Patricia, Chase replied, I don't even know what there is to shout about yet. You need to tell me how much you've invested. Patricia rolled her eyes before mumbling under her breath.
500,000.
Chase couldn't believe it. He practically screamed. What? 500,000?
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.